Okay, today we're going live with the AP-735 from Aruba. I would like to test the redundancy on the Ethernet connectivity and also the redundancy on the PoE. According to Aruba, this AP will function in restricted mode if it's configured with a switch that can only provide class 4 PoE. And also, if you need everything to work properly, or without any restriction, you better connect it to a switch that can provide full class 5, class 5 PoE. So right now, this device is connected to a Cisco 3560CX. It's a 12 port, but I have two of those APs. The other one is connected to a 6100 CX. The 6100 CX can only provide class 4 PoE. But the confusion to start with was, if I can bundle the PoE port, does it mean if I have two ports configured on class 4, will they be able to balance into a class 5? That's the question we're going to test and then see if it works. It works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So this is a live video and I'm doing it in my lab. This may be too long. If I know I will be making a lot of mistake, a lot of harm, but I can clean them later and then post it differently. But for right now, I'm going live however long it takes. And if I make a mistake, I'm not going to stop. I do not have a bullet point that I'm following up, but if I was to configure it, I believe I have an idea how I will go about it. First, the idea is redundancy. Redundancy means two links at least, since it has two ports. I need it both for data, both for PoE. From the switch side, not much I can do on the PoE for the redundancy, but for the link aggregation, I should be able to do something about it. So now, since we are working with a Cisco 3560 and also an Aruba 6100, let me go over the port configuration that I have for both of them. So I have, this one is the 6100. That is where the current working AP is connected to. And then the second switch I'm going over is the 3560. And then this one is the one that is on my desk right now. And then we're going to configure both, then make sure everything is working fine. So the first step into the configuration has already been completed because the APs are right now in Aruba Central. Unfortunately, my session is timed out, and then let's see if we can log back in and then continue from where we were. So again, it might take a little bit of time for Aruba to do what it's doing on the back end, but for right now, let's see what we have. Show interface breathe. I believe that's the Aruba way of checking the status of the AP. And I know for sure they are connected to port number 3 and 4. So this is the one AP that I have in the basement. And from the Cisco side of them, to show interface status, I believe they are connected to port number 11 and 12. So to start with, let me just make sure I can identify my port. I think it's GI0 GI1/0/11 to 12. In the description, it would be AP-735. Okay, nothing else. They may have some configuration, but again, we don't really care about them right now. So run interface GI11. So that is the configuration I have right now. It is the description, native VLAN 100, switch port trunk. And since we're going to talk about redundancy, I added it to channel number one. So, or for channel number one, I'm going to remove this one and save it because I'm going to delete them. And exactly, it's the same for 12. Okay, same thing. So port 11 and 12, that will be part of my port channel number one. I do show run interface PO1. Same thing. Okay, let's grab that and put it down over here. Okay, so to start with, like, why don't we do this? And we do config T, and then we're going to do default interface range GI0, no, GI1 slash 0 slash 11 to 12. GI1 slash 0 slash 11 to 12. Okay, and then we lost all the configuration, and all what we're going to do right now is interface range this one, and we'll leave it. Pretty sure it is on shutdown right now, but if we want to review the configuration or from Aruba side, from the 6100, is believe it's show run interface 1/1/3 to 1/1/4. Okay, so all interfaces are in shutdown mode right now, and they belong to lag 100. So run lag 100, of course, to put interface lag 100. Again, all what I think the only thing that is different I did here is LACP mode active, because I feel like sometime when we were waiting for the AP itself to negotiate it, the ports from the, especially from the Cisco side, went into error disable, not error disable, but they are the different state that they were. If they become to that state again, we'll go over and then see how we did troubleshoot it. Okay, so now if I go over here into my Wi-Fi 7 group, and then I click on the access point, it shows one is online. That's this one that is should be offline right now because it is the one that connected to the Cisco, and we just reset all the ports under Cisco. And let's make sure we do shut down. Okay. And the Cisco, once you shut down, it takes the PoE offline as well. Um, and I know HP and ICX, they do not do that. You have to manually do it, but Cisco does both at the same time. Okay, the one close to me, there's no light on it, and basically in a few minutes, everything's supposed to be offline on Aruba. So this one is configured. We assume that over here when I did the configuration, so the only thing I need is come into the system status, and then make sure I have under advanced, close that please. We're on the access point, and then under the interface and my default profile, and I modify this one, and then I put both Ethernet port into it. And when I went down here, I enable under system, I believe. Icon system, and then interfaces, interfaces, profile. I have both configured, and if I'm going under the AP, under the AP itself, uh, and then go to list on the devices, and any of those, and then we do the configuration. I'll just edit over here, and then on the uplink, I didn't do anything over here. And then I went to interfaces. On the default port, I configured both network interfaces, and then um, I went into system all the way down. Close that page. Okay, under the system, sorry. I don't know why I've been going everywhere. Under system, under LACP, I made it to active. There might be a different way to do that, and with enough troubleshooting, I don't know why we'll do it on passive, but I really wanted to establish the connection right away. So I force it to into active, and I do the same thing from the port side. Okay, so that's what I did over here. So now, in order for me to validate what it takes to come online, so this one is already configured. It has all the settings on it. In order to test it again, the best way for me to do it is to come over here and then create a new group. Create a new group. Let's just call this one AP-735. I'm just going to add access point to it. No template, nothing, and it's only Aruba AOS 10. Sorry, yeah, AOS 10, and then add no configuration to it. Okay, so now in the other group, I didn't have any SSID, but here I have an SSID that I've been testing. So if I move those APs, they should stop broadcasting the SSID. And let's go over here. Okay, they are offline anyway, but I move them over to that group, and let's bring that group back online. Devices, and both of them are offline. So from the Aruba CX, I still have the same configuration. So I'm going to enable them. But if we go here under the group itself, under the configuration, and then asking for a password, let me put a password. That's the only thing I'm going to add. There are so many configurations to do here, but that's not the point for this video. I'm trying to test the redundancy, and that's all what I'm going to do. And if you click over here and in your profile, the default one only has one profile on it, and I'm going to add the second one since this AP only has two. And over here, duplex mode, I'm going to leave everything the way they are. And well, so I'm not going to touch this one because I didn't touch it on the first one. If we have to do something else later, I can enable this one, but I will leave it as is for now. So nothing else configured here. And then if we go to VLAN, I don't have anything, and I'm not going to add anything for right now. And again, if we do go to system, that is more a group level, but something you want to do sometime, you have to do it under the IP itself. So I'm in Canada, and for now, that's all. I'm not going to do anything. And remember, we were talking about IPM, that is the intelligent power management. We're not going to enable it right now because we already know we will be using a class 4 switch, class 4 switch, so we don't want to do that. Please continue and save. Okay. One thing that I believe I should try to do as well is under radio. I'm not going to enable anything under radio yet. I will enable the power, make sure everything is working fine yet. And that because the idea is for me to be able to see to be able to see the status light goes off if I believe that I am providing enough power to the AP, because I just don't like when it's showing amber. For sure something it's not working when that happened. Okay. And save. Okay, again, I'm not at the IP level, I'm still at the group level right now. And so let's see what we have right now. Interfaces and VLAN system, nothing else. Okay, so now it's time to enable those ports. So I think it's interface 1/1/1. Sorry, 3 to 1/1/4. Just going to do a no shot on it, and I'm going to go to interface flag 100. I'm going to say no shot. But the one thing that I didn't expect to see is when I'm moving the AP from the other group to this one, I did expect for it to not show up with the old IP address that it had before. But I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to leave it as is. So, and show interface with 3.4. The show still down. I believe they do not have power. I'm going to show power. If I do power over Ethernet assigned by class, and then I put 4, it does not show anything. So sounds like this is the default configuration. Instead of doing that, I am going to add it to priority I instead. Okay. Again, no shot. I believe I did that already, but just in case I did not, show interface status, show interface split. Okay, let's still down because it's going to take a while, and that is the one thing that I learned. Watching the AP close to me, what I notice it takes a ridiculous amount of time when you enable the port in the PoE for the AP itself to start coming online. So on this one, let's do no shot. No shot, and then no shot, and then the only configuration I'm going to add, since we are still under the range, and is I'm not going to tag any VLAN. I will let the port channel do that, but I am going to just do this. I'm not going to do any configuration. See if the port channel is going to do that. Yeah, and then no shot, power over Ethernet. If that is going to be enabled by default, and then show interface status. It will be 1112, not connected. Yep, I can see it's blinking. blinking green, that's maybe just initial boot. Okay. So while we're doing this, let me go over here, and then I'm going to add an SSID, and I want it to be enabled everywhere, including the 6. Don't need 2.4. Let's leave it here, and I'm going to do AP-735. Then next under VLAN. VLAN ID 1, I'm going to leave it to this one because I am using only one VLAN on my network for now, in the test lab. Only one network, the same that is configured for the AP management, is the one that is going to be used for that SSID as well. So I'm going to leave everything open. Yes, let's do is the usual. And that's about it for now. Oh, they do not match. Go figure. Okay. Okay. I see all the lights online right now, and I believe they already boot. Finish this one, and then do show LLDP neighbor interface GI the 1/0/11. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. I see the port. Okay, yeah, there's something on 12, but not on 11. Okay, and to show interface status because both of the ports they are enabled. And this one says both of them they are connected 104. The PO, the port channel age, and 1 gig. So that is not good because to me it's not balanced yet, but I know it should be on 2 gigs. Let's wait. Maybe the switch configuration, it has to go online to make sure it sees that we configure both port on this one, and then we expect it to be doing LACP. If we go to the AP itself, see what is it doing right now. It's still doing, still offline. See, 12, nothing yet. Okay, I still don't have an IP address yet. Let's do show run interface PO1. Oh, it's missing something. So there's no VLAN attached to it, okay? Interface PO1. What kind of configuration we want to add to it? Should be only two things. Want to add the native VLAN on it, then just let it know it's strong, and that's about it. So we had a 169. Let's see how long it's going to take to change the IP address from 169 to something else. Let's go to the 6100, and we are on port 3 and 4. Still shows down. Interface lag 100. It's still, yeah, it's no shutdown. What about show run interface 1/1/3? No power over Ethernet. Yeah, of course. Interface 1/1/3 for cap. Okay, now we have an IP address. Okay, we have an IP address here. We expect this baby to be online pretty soon. Oh my God. Maybe that means I've spent way too much time. Okay, I have one online. And if I go to list, go to that one. What is this one? Is the one connected to the Cisco? And then my link still at 1 gig. So if I go to on the device and then modify this one, and then on the system, LCP mode is already on active. And if it's already inactive on the profile, okay, it didn't, and the group didn't bring the profile here. Okay, let me add it here manually. I'm not going to troubleshoot why it didn't bring it, but let's just do it manually. And then we'll see on the port in a few minutes if it's going to change. Okay, it has the right info. All right, let's go. All right, look like the second one is online as well. Oh no, I need to go on access point. And this one. LCP is already active. And then on the interface over here, still show one. I'm adding this one. That's two. Yeah, yeah, that's it. All right, so let's see. Okay. All right, so both of them are online right now. But what is not working right now, you notice we still have a 1 gig link. So interface status, so interface breathe. Oh yeah. But this one on Aruba, it shows 2 gigs. Well, maybe the problem is a Cisco problem, or maybe it's a me problem. So 2 gigs and show run interface PO yo one. Okay, Cisco. So what is going on? Hmm. Interface PO one LCP. No, it's not LCP. What does it call here? Is no. Now, there is no such thing in Cisco to force anything on it. Wow. Okay, then, so let's try this. Okay, so if we are at 1 gig, and then we do show, I know it is the IP address of 173. So if we bring this window over here, and then we do ping dash t 10.111.131.173, then what if we do first, before I blame Cisco, let's go back. This is that switch here, 173. ETH0 is up, 1 is up. Okay, both trunk. No, why is it showing something different? Let's do one part at a time here. So run interface range GI 1/0/11 12 interface range. Yeah, 1/0. No, that's possible, but hey, you can interface. Oh, thank you, Cisco. You don't do it. Okay, let's do GI slash 1/0/11 12. Yep, same configuration. Active mode chunk 700 for this port. Exactly the same thing. Okay, then what if we do config 2, and then let's go to interface 11, and then let's do short. Let's see how much data we lose before we get traffic. We lost 1. Okay, what if we enable it again? No short, and then we go to the 12, and then we're going to shut this one down. Well, I guess it does the configuration properly. We understood we lost 1 ping when we do once we did shut down, but the speed stay at 11. So anyway, for the one that is connected to the 6100 is 196. So the 196, let's do something first. There's something we would like to double check. So if we do show power, I think this one is breathe. So here's what we have here. We have those two port, the power is not balanced on it compared to what you see in Cisco show. Power over power inline, I believe, breathe, summary or breathe. Summary. or just enter. So port 12. Oh yeah, we just disabled port 12. Okay, let's enable it back. Let's enable it back. Or no shot. This one was on no shot. Yes, if we do show power and line. Okay, so Cisco is doing 29 watts, 29 watts for class 4 power, and then 15 on the second interface. Earlier, both ports they were doing equal, but is why is this one the 6100 is doing on a class 4, it's only doing 13 watts? Why? It's configured with PoE high, but what if we force it and then we say power over Ethernet is signed allocate by class. Okay. Huh. Okay, let's do by class first. And then what is by usage? Let me see what's the difference. Okay, by class. So assign class. First, before we do that, let's do show power bridge. Okay, now we're in business, huh? So now it's doing 23 in each port, but that is reserve. That is reserve, but we still have 80 watts. So it is not a problem with the switch not having enough power. But this one is already doing 29.5 on each port. The max is 30 watts, so it cannot go any higher. But this one is doing 29, but only delivering roughly 14 watts. So my problem is now that is where um, I'm going to reboot both of them. That is where my question comes for anybody trying to do exactly the same thing. So why my system light is still on orange? Okay, so does it mean yes, the HP AP-735 can accept the PoE from both ports as we see here, but cannot combine two ports to create one class? Is that the right conclusion about this one? Okay. I can tell you everything works fine. The SSID, I haven't tested the SSID on this one, but I did test it before. It works without any problem. Whichever port you disable, it will continue to work. But for me to test it on a Cisco and then on an HP 6100 with combined power equal to almost 60 watts, and then I still have the system status light still orange. So unless somebody has enough data, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm doing something wrong. But if you know why, let me know. Maybe I'm chasing something that's not worth it. Maybe somewhere in the product specification, Aruba already said you cannot combine two class 4 to get a class 5 out of it. If that's the case, it's all good. But yes, so where will we ever use something like this? Well, if I had a conference room or where most of the time we do business presentation with investors or with very important customers, I will do that. It is very annoying to accomplish that. It requires more investment as well, because the idea is if we are really looking for redundancy between for a specific area, so we're going to have to run two cables for each access point. Now, let's say we have 5 access point, okay, that would be part of that event. Understand that the 5 access point will require two switches. The reason I'm saying two switches, we're talking about redundancy. You cannot have one switch to provide redundancy. If you're using two ports and one switch, that is kind of redundancy, but it is not redundancy. Okay, so you will need two switches, but you cannot have any two switches. So we have to remove 6100 from the equation because it cannot do stacking. So if we're going to talk LACP or Ether channel, depending on what kind of switch you're going to use, you have to use something that can do stack. So imagine that you only have 5 APs. So you will need to run 10 cables for those 5 APs. And then you have to have a switch that can do, in order for us to work without any restriction. Okay. So we need to be able to provide a class 5 PoE. Make sure the switches that you are going to order for your design, they first support um, class 5, and then they support stacking as well. Otherwise, you're not going to have a fully redundant network. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And I know it's long and boring, but it is a live video. I did not prepare anything. I'm not copy pasting. So if you were in a situation to do a design, that exactly what you were going through during the configuration. Um, the first issue I have, if somebody's trying this one and then you find out your APs are not getting to Aruba Central or not getting an IP address, is the first time when I unpacked those boxes, they didn't work on the port channel, and I had to remove the port channel and then put them on access. And then they went online and then they get all the configuration. After that, I was able to use the trunking. Just bear in mind, if you have issue the first time, that's maybe your problem. Okay. Thank you very much, and comment on what I did wrong, or if there's anything else that you would like to see. Uh, Fortunately, with our partnership, we have a lot of equipment that we can test from Cisco, from especially Aruba, and a lot of things that you may not be able to test in a production. We have a lab equipment